This is my cat. This is her. Hey everyone, I'm Grace. This is Gracefully, and today we're going to be, or I'm going to, we all are collectively recommending. Today I am going to be recommending books to read on a rainy day, like a glum day with like, you know, the type of days when you have like a tea or a hot chocolate or a coffee and like you have Taylor Swift's Folklore like pumped up. Anyway, so let's get into it. I want to start with the gothic reads. Okay, so we're going to start off with Haunting of Hill House by Shelley Jackson. Now you guys have probably heard of the TV show. This book is actually quite different from the TV show. It essentially is about this woman, Eleanor, and she is single, she's living with her sister, and she feels very unloved and underappreciated. Her sister is like a bit of a bitch, to be honest. And she gets this invite by this doctor to investigate like the science of the paranormal world. Because she has a paranormal experience in her past. And when she figures out that she has the opportunity to escape the life that she basically hates, she jumps right on it. She's like, oh my gosh, yes, I can make new friends or explore these things, and I'm special here. So she arrives at Hill House, she enters the grounds, meets the other people who are in the science experiment, and things kind of go to shit from there. It's a haunted house story, essentially. So why should you read this when it rains? Because it is a haunted house story. It's a haunted house. It has storms and like locked doors and like taps against windows. It's dreary. I feel like being in a dreary day while reading this dreary book would like heighten everything that's happening in it and make it all seem like more realistic. And I think that would be really fun. Okay, so next up is a book that I have spoken about before, but for those of you who haven't read it, because I feel like everyone should, Frankenstein, the first ever spec fic book ever written ever. And it's by a 19-year-old Mary Shelley. So this book is essentially, if you haven't heard of it, it's about a man who creates life. It kind of questions like godliness and what would happen if man could kind of create life rather than a woman. Why should you read this book when it is raining and stormy outside? Well, because it's like there are so many like stormy nights in this novel and dark nights and just a lot of chilling scenes. There's murder. There's like just a lot of, gothic things. But yeah, I feel like classics are just so inherently like not always gothic, but very like rainy day kind of reads with like a tea or a coffee. And the third and final book that is in this like gothic category is Rebecca, which is by Daphne du Maurier. And it is like a modern classic. It's essentially about a woman who meets this like 45-year-old odd widower. So his wife has died, and then they get married and they go to his like estate in Cornwall. And it kind of turns out just slowly and progressively as she lives there that the wife may not be as like absent as she seems. It is a fantastic novel. Like you should just read it in general, not just because of a rainy day. But if you're going to read it, it's again like this big gaping mansion that's just bare grounds. There's not many people there. There's like strange happenings happening all over the place, and there is a big storm that is quite pivotal in the plot. So it's like all the rainy vibes. Next up is the cozy section. So I feel like when it's dreary and rainy, that we really just need something cozy and warm to warm up our souls, because it's so easy to read these like horrific books and then kind of go into that emotional state. Whereas sometimes it's just good to get like a little cozy, like middle grade or contemporary or fantasy and just kind of go with it. Just go with it and kind of suspend your disbelief while a storm is happening outside. So the first book that I wanted to recommend, or it's rather a series, is the Nevermoor series, or the Morrigan Crow series. I think it's the Nevermoor series by Jessica Townsend. So this book is a middle grade series about a girl called Morrigan Crow, and she's classified as a cursed child. So these cursed children are destined to die on their 11th birthday because they just wreak havoc over society. These tiny, like, terrible happenings just keep occurring around them. On the day that she's about to die, she's about to get eaten by these, like, smoke wolves. this guy called Jupiter North comes and just saves her. He whisks her away to this wonderful, wonderful land called Nevermoor. And it's like a place where animals can talk, like people can literally see each other's emotions. There's dragons, there's like a railway, except the way that you ride it is by having an umbrella and like hooking your umbrella onto it and like holding on. And it's just such a brilliant like world and such a cozy and happy world. And obviously she wants to stay there. So to stay here, she has to complete these wondrous trials. And that's what the first book is about, her trying to complete these trials. I just want to hug this series. I only have the third book here with me. And also the covers. Oh, the German cover is literally stunning. The German cover I just want forever, ever. The German cover, please gift it to me. I can't read German. I don't plan on reading German, ever. But I want this book. Okay, so next is the Ranger's Apprentice series. So this series is essentially about a little boy, again it's middle grade, named Will Treaty, and he has to decide what he wants to be for the rest of his life at this like choosing ceremony. And what happens is that he gets chosen to be a ranger, which is like a very big privilege in this world. And rangers are essentially like the king's like assassins, I guess, but more so spies, and they kind of roam the kingdom solving mysteries, like sneaking around. They have these cloaks which are like invisibility cloaks but not like magical. This book has such a special place in my heart. It is like my Harry Potter. So obviously I would go back and read this book because it just has like a lot of nostalgic value. But if you look at the covers of these series, I think it's just so innately like fall and rain and just coziness. When I think of this series, I think of like crackly leaves and just friendships and coffee with honey in it. If you've read it, you'll understand that reference. So I think, yes, if it is raining, read this book. This is like top of the list. Read this one. Next, I have another kind of nostalgic read for me personally, but also a nostalgic read if you've kind of read Twilight or Fallen or the Hush Hush series or Obsidian series. Like it's a paranormal romance is essentially what I'm trying to say. It's by Maggie Stiefvater because I'm not going to let her go. So this series is about a bookish boy with a secret. So this girl, her name is Grace, and yes, I'm biased because of that, but it's about this girl and she's like falling in love with this boy who works at the bookstore, but he has a paranormal secret. And I think looking at the covers, you can kind of guess what it is. It's also not a traditional look at these type of paranormal beings. There's like different magical laws around it. And I think the system is actually really creative. But again, it is in like the paranormal teen romance. So it doesn't try to be anything more than that. And also if you get the books are like on the inside colored the way the titles are. So Shiver is like blue on the inside. And I don't know why, but like reading it blue when it's like raining, just rain is blue, the book is blue. That's what I'm saying. Okay, it's cool, it's cool. Another book that I quickly did want to chuck in here, also by Maggie Stiefvater, because I can't shut up about her, is The Scorpio Races. So I'm just going to tell you the first line and then I will abandon it because I don't want to dwell too quickly on every single Maggie Stiefvater book I have read. The first line of this book is, "It is the first day of November and so today someone will die." That's all I'm telling you. Read it. That's the line. Go ahead. I also bought a special edition of this book for $97. It hasn't arrived yet. We don't talk about it. Next is The Strange and Beautiful Sorrows of Ava Lavender. So this book is essentially about a girl named Ava Lavender. Nope, it's not. That's incorrect, actually. You'd think it was. So this book is essentially a magical realism story, and it's about this kind of magical family. It's a generational story for about the first half, telling you about how this family has immigrated, I think from Ireland, to America. But don't quote me on that. But yeah, so it's about this family who's immigrated, but they have like little magical tendrils in their life. You can, like there's ghosts, there's like witchiness, and then one generation, this girl is born with wings, and that's Ava Lavender. And it's honestly one of my favorite books I've read ever. And again, there's just a lot of focus on friendships and kind of metaphors that are applied to this because like obviously wings are like a form of discrimination, but it also focuses on like religion and how religion would approach a girl born with wings who's like reminiscent of an angel. And it's just really stunning book. And again, there's like a big storm, I think, at the end, or at least storm vibes at the end. But it's also just like a warm, cozy read. It's kind of like a mix of both, you know? It's like warm and cozy friendships and like a girl with wings, which is really cool and mystical and magical. And then also like a storm scene at the end. It's not like necessarily a storm, but like storm scene is like, you know, and everything, all the stakes are high. There's like a cackling genius going like, mwahaha. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I am, to be honest, not feeling the greatest at the moment, so I'm really trying to keep my energy high for this one. I'm like, yeah. But I really do hope you enjoyed. I think that reading is such a good thing, and then it's an escape. I've just been feeling a bit poorly, although I have finished 2 books in the time that I felt poorly, probably as an escape. But you know, I'm really, really happy with how this is going along, and I can't wait to see all your comments and likes and like the subscription count maybe go up, I don't know. But I'm really excited to see how you'll engage with this, because that's my favourite part, honestly. Thank you for watching. I hope that you do pick up some of these. Let me know what your recommendations would be for like a cozy warm read or like a gothic read. I'm thinking of picking up The Secret History or Pet Cemetery this month, but let me know what you think. But yeah, have a wonderful, wonderful afternoon. I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye guys. Okay, we've done it.